The City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
Greetings, Los Angeles. Welcome to episode 395 of the Heart of LAFC podcast. Yes, I am back in the middle of the Club World Cup, making it happen. We've got the full crew available to give you the post from the last match, preview the next one, and talk all things LAFC. It's on. It's happening. We've got Bam. We've got Araceli. We've got Tony. That's right. It is good to go. Of course, Araceli, I'm going to go to you first since you're coming in here late. How you doing? How are things going?
Things are going. Just basically bracing myself for next month, honestly. Just a heavy schedule work-wise. And, of course, as we all know, the All-Star Game's in Austin. So just getting all that figured out. Otherwise, been doing well. I've gotten lucky that this week hasn't been as heavy work-wise. So definitely been taking advantage and getting much needed rest.
There you go. There you go. Busy times. Everybody going everywhere. So much football. Hard to keep up, that's for sure. And Tony, of course, hanging out at the bottom there. Tony, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. Just like I said, craziness over here. Some good things, some bad things just with life. But, of course, the monkey in the room, the shirt says it all. But, overall, doing well. And then, again, with the results of today, we have a better opportunity moving forward to advance.
Yeah, we're still in it. Put in a respectable performance. We'll definitely cover that against Chelsea, but we're in the mix. We're part of the show, that's for sure. We're not pulling off a 10-0 defeat and trying to come back from that. No, we're in this thing. We're definitely in it. Of course, Bam is here as well, coming in from the future. I know how that feels now. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. More importantly is how are you feeling with the jet lag after the flight home?
The first day wasn't a big deal, but now I'm feeling it. I ain't gonna lie. I came in late. It's weird. You're like, I'm fine. It's cool. And now you're like, what time is it? And why do I want to be up at 3 a.m? Yeah, no, it's a little different.
It's not when you land, because obviously you land at a decent time. It's daylight in LA and all that kind of stuff. It's once you slept that night, or you have a nap in the afternoon, then you're waking up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. You're like, why am I waking up now? That's where it hits you. So I'm glad you made it back safely from your trip and can't wait to hear more about it.
Oh, yeah. And I would tell anybody, if you can get to Japan, go. It's worth it. It's worth every penny. It could have been more, to be honest. Like, it's a value right now. So go. It's worth it. Get out of town. Trust me. These are the days to do it. Oosh. Yeah, so back in the mix, though. Back with my friends and family here in the States. I know it's heavy days, that's for sure. But I'm here. Yes, Tony.
So, since you're back in with an outsider's perspective, which is another one, since Bam is the other one that we had, with everything going on, what has been with the news coming in? Of course, we were talking while you were there, like all the news and everything. What has been your outsiders while insiders look upon everything that's been going on the past couple of weeks?
Well, I can say from Japan, sadly, it was, if you got anywhere near CNN or anything that would cover, is it focused heavy on Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. I think it's our proximity to Japan, and where would you fly in usually, right? The outsider perspective, I would say, is the questioning of the stability of the United States. I think that is what I could gather. I don't translate well, but it was more of what is going on and why, and trying to figure it out. It's a mystery to most people why we are where we are. And yeah, this perspectives is more adult, you could say, instead of he said or the whataboutisms that seem to dominate the news sphere here. It's not that. It's big picture, adult picture. And it ain't good. It ain't great. And it doesn't make us look any better. It looks unstable. It looks like a crumbling democracy. Let's be honest. And it's heartbreaking from a distance because we were over there while this is happening. It's just heartbreaking to see things the way they are. And the dehumanization, I think, is the worst part of it, because you know what happens next. As a history major that I am, political science background, you know this story, you've read the story 100 times, right? And you know what happens next if things don't change. And so from my perspective, from a distance, is a little bit of helplessness, right? But at the same time, you know that if you're quiet, you're giving in. So that's where I'm at on this. Is it's disgusting. And I hate to see people be dehumanized. These people have lives. These people have names. They're people you know. You don't ask somebody's paper. You ask their name. You ask about their family. And I think that's where I'm at in all of this. Is you're losing yourselves if you let it go, right? And so that's where I stand on all this. Is just bring back humanity at the end of the day. So
What about like with everything that's, again, we are LAFC show. We cover the show and everything, but as a grand spect of sports of just us and Angel City saying something, how does that feel?
I'm proud of my club. I'm even more proud of the supporters for both clubs. They both had something to say. ACFC with the Immigrant FC, that is Los Angeles. That's always been Los Angeles. That's who built Los Angeles. And will continue to build Los Angeles. Again, you can kick people for only so long. They're going to rise up. They're not going to stay down for too long. They'll find their feet. Good luck to those who started this, because they will find their feet. Yeah, again, I'm happy that my club took the right side of history. I'm disappointed in other organizations that love to profit off of the community, but don't have their backs. That stinks. And I would say be wise with your dollars in the coming days, and don't support people who don't support you. Easy enough, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I just wanted to see your opinion, since you haven't been on the pod, and of course, me and Bam have expressed our frustrations with everything. Again, that was probably the episode where we talked less about football and more about what was going on. But again, that is the world of football. Is we have a voice as supporters to say this, and as a supporter podcast, and we have a platform, like I said last time, to express what we can say, even if it's just a small one. We have it to, say what we can, when we need to say, when it needs to be.
Simple, right? And I'd also advise anyone who takes offense, study the difference between nationalism and patriotism and come back to me. And I'll leave it at that.
And on that note,
yep, we'll move on to the football.
Let's move on to the football, yes.
So, about the football. As things are going the way they are off the field, at least in the world of football, LAFC is at the highest stage they have ever been. Right. We're one of a select few, only 3 in MLS that have ever had this level of opportunity. Playing against Chelsea, of all teams. The first an MLS team to actually take on a Premier League side in a competitive match is pretty epic, no matter the result. And so that is where we're going to go to here. Let's talk about that match and how important that match was. Again, doesn't matter on the result. I know we want the win, but you still committed yourselves well and put yourself in a position where you're in the club now. You're in the game, and you're competitive and had a chance. Now, did I get a chance to watch this thing live? No, I was in Japan. I think a kickoff was 4 a.m. So a little hard to do, a 4 a.m. kickoff. But these guys were seeing it live. I think even Bam got up at 5 a.m. because he was an hour ahead of where I was at to get it as best he could. Tony definitely watched the game. So I'll talk about this. I'll throw in the lineup, and then Tony's going to give us the down low on this match. All right. So what did we have for this? Again, Chelsea LAFC kicking off from Atlanta with a empty stadium pretty much, except for the 3252 who were dialed in for this thing. Chelsea came out with the 4-2-3-1 system. We came out with our classic 4-3-3. In the lineup for LAFC, you had Lloris back in goal, Segura and Long as your center backs, Palencia and Hollingshead as your outside backs, Igor Jesus, Tillman, and Delgado holding it down in the midfield. Ibose, Ordaz, and Bawanga up front as your attacking options. What did we see from Chelsea? Well, Sanchez was in goal. Colwill and I'm never going to pronounce his name right. Adebayo, I think I did it okay. Center back. James and Cucurella were your outside backs. I know he's not my favorite either, Tony. Casado and Lavia were your defensive midfielders. Palmer was your attacking midfielder. Neto and Madueke were your outside attackers. And Jackson was up top as the lone striker. But you all know the way Chelsea plays, it changes as the game progresses as needed. They are very dynamic in the way they approach the game. No question about it. Now, how did things play out? That's where I throw it to Tony with the highlights and the lowlights on the day.
So, again, we'll start with the high. Again, Club World Cup. We're here, boys. A place where not that much time we would have thought in the beginning of the season. Again, rumblings of what might happen, what not, but we're here. Playing Chelsea at a 12 o'clock noon game here on the West Coast. So 3 o'clock, if I remember right, over there on the East Coast, maybe, yeah, 2, 3, meh, give or take. But overall, the lows, Neto scores on us. And we had a lot of missed opportunities in the first half, but we played well enough. That's the thing this is the thing. Yes. Did we play against a premier team? Yes. Did we play against a good premier team? That is great. Yes. But they're still rebuilding. Of course, that's the one thing people also have to understand. So we had a chance and we showed that we had a chance. Players showed up. Ordaz, unfortunately, came out because of a head injury, a concussion. And, again, the protocol has to be with that. I think maybe if he stays in, there's a little bit more chippiness because he was going at those Chelsea players. He didn't care that they were, worth millions more than him and everything. He was going to show them why he should be on that pitch, and everyone else did, of course. Now, the goal, everyone's, of course, saying, putting Hollington on skates and sliding, but Hollington was trying to make the tackle, you know what I mean? It was in a way where if he hits the ball. Maybe he clips the player himself, but he has to make the ball. Again, Neto with a nice cutback and everything. Unfortunately, goes in, does little gamesmanship. I think, karma kind of bites him back now again for that. I'll just say that because of today's result for them. But overall, just after that goal, we were still in it. Like, there was still a chance for us to tie it. And it wasn't until, if we get into the second half, not until these 73rd minute, 79th minute. I was 79th minute, which a great pass, and then Enzo pretty much putting it in, putting the nail in the coffin. But there was opportunities. Bawanga was doing the best he could do, and had opportunities to score, just couldn't finish it. And then and at times at these games, I know we've been talking about it year after year after year. But on a big stage like this, those can't finish mistakes are amplified 1,000 times more because it becomes then what if, But again, great performance from the boys. We can learn from this and move on forward. And I still think we still have a chance to advance in this and eventually, play someone's other team in Europe.
With possibly one of our future players. I'm just going to leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
My take from it is, of course, the finishing. We have a young player that just shakes and bakes and looks like everything you could possibly get, and in the last moment shanks things. And it's youth. I get it. But we had our moments. I felt we had our moments to draw these guys at a minimum. The goals they scored were the goals they scored. They were still good, right? I mean, it's Chelsea. I'm pretty sure their transfer fees cost more than our entire friggin' salaries, right? Our whole roster salary. I mean, you got to understand the scale here of what you're playing against. That's not an excuse. That's just fact. Quality is quality. You pay for quality, and they pay top dollar at Chelsea, right? So when they finish, yeah, you expect them to, right? Those 2 goals, that's what they do. For us, it's a little bit harder, right? Players are still developing in some cases, others not as in tune. I was really hoping for that Hollingshead one to dip because that was really creative from him. But he was all over the place. I know there were some complaints with some of the stuff he did, but to me, he was dynamic all game. And you watch him and wonder, how is this guy not a regular at the national team level as you watch him at this age, still doing what he does? We had our quality on the day. We did. We came up short against Chelsea. Others have done a lot worse against them. And now we know what speed we have to play at. We have to know the intensity required against a team of that quality. And as people think Esperance is going to be like a drop-off, it's not. And we'll preview that. But what they put into that game, they're going to have to put it into the next one to get a result if they're going to get a result. But at least now that you know that you're capable, that you can step up. And they did step up. So that one makes me happy. But yeah, you can't lose anymore at this point. It's group stage. You lose 2, forget it. So there we are. Bam, your thoughts?
They played an amazing game. You look at 2 is, look at, for example, Cole Palmer. They signed him from Manchester City for 82 million Aussie dollars. You know, he's on the $60 million contract. That's a lot. That's what, how many years of our total salary there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So playing against some of the best players in the world, I would have liked to see what would happen if Odaz didn't get injured. I reckon he was aiming up, he was warming up, he was getting into it. With his injury, I doubt he'll be playing next game, which is a real shame because I reckon going up against Esperance, it will be great for him. But going into it, no one can hold their head down saying they play bad. We just got outmatched. We kept trying things. We kept doing our game, and you can't hate us for doing that. It was, who can say that they can come up against Chelsea in a game like this? Yes, the results 2-0 loss, but show grit and determination for the whole game.
You still managed 4 shots on goal against Chelsea. You had chances to score. You created those chances, right? You have to be proud of that. At the end of the day, like, there's something to build on here. I can't be negative about this one. I can't be. I don't think Tony can be, right? You can't be negative about this one. Nah, we're in the show. Be proud of it. Araceli, your overall thoughts, how do you feel about the result itself?
I mean, I didn't have a chance to watch the game live, so I really don't have an opinion in terms of LAFC's level of play for this match. But just looking at the stats and when the Chelsea goals happened, I mean, LAFC looked like they fared well and had some solid chances, despite the final result, of course. But going up against a team like Chelsea, who else can really say that, honestly? So that's going to be something that will be talked about for a while, regardless of how far they make it in this tournament.
Exactly. Now, I would also say for LASC to perform the way they performed, certain younger players on this team are getting a unique opportunity by all of this, right? They acquitted themselves. Martinez acquitted himself well in this. There's the potential. Eyes are watching on our younger players. There's something to be said for that they were still able to do some special things out there against that quality of opposition. So, again, I'm proud of the boys. I'm going to expect even more for the next match.
Oh, yeah. And if you want to go into a little bit more, like, just for example, total shots. We had 7 total shots. They had 17.
Yeah.
3 off target, 6 shots on target, 8 shots were blocked. Shows you how a defense was getting into blocking shots. They had 11 shots from inside the box and 6 from outside. 17 shots to only score 2. which other team could hold Chelsea out with those types of shots?
They can't. Again, I think guys did step up where they needed to step up. You would have needed a kind of a minor miracle to get a result against Chelsea. Let's be real. But bring it for the next two, right? You're in this now. You're definitely in this. Now, that being said, talking about the potential there, of course, the other potential we got to talk about, of course, is LAFC 2 and what's going on with them. So I'm going to jump over to you, Araceli, about what's going on in the world of LAFC 2.
Well, the boys haven't been faring well lately. I know Tony and Bam has kind of been covering the last couple of matches. Thank you guys for doing that. But moving forward, they actually do have a bye week for this weekend. However, the boys will have a double feature for match week 16. Both matches will be at home at Titan Stadium. The first, they will host Minnesota on Wednesday, June 25th. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. The game will be streamed on Apple TV. And then they will have a very short turnaround as they host Tacoma Defiant next Sunday with a 1 o'clock kickoff. And that match will be streamed on the site itself. Now, I know in the past I've always said or encouraged everyone to go out to the games to watch them. Of course, I recognize everything that's happening right now over there. So I will just say it as this. If you feel comfortable to go, feel free to go check them out. But if you even just streaming them at home, I know the boys will appreciate the support either way.
Yeah, if you can go. I mean, it is pretty far from, Los Angeles at this stage. If you can get out there, get out there. I think that's the way we can throw that there. Yeah, it's an opportunity. That's for sure. I didn't get to the comments. Let me do that before we move on in any further here. I do see a few from the faithful, so let's go to it. Let's see. Oh, we've got those fun accounts on here. Dave's on here, says LAFC Familia. There we go. Philly in the mix. I know they had the 10 o'clock, so we moved to 10:30. John, come on. Yeah, gotta listen to it all, guys. This gives us good evenings. All love to you, Philly, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for the welcome back, Burke. Yes, I'm stateside again. The Nathan Ordaz on here says I won't be playing tomorrow, guys. Got concussed. We love Nathan. We do. Dave says the lads did us proud. Exactly. And Dave also says everyone should stand up against fascism. Yeah, man. It's real. Real. You ever want to talk to me about history and stuff? Have most conversations. I'll tell you some stories from personal stuff. Let's see. Dave also said LAFC, ACSC, and the Dodgers are forces for good. Dodgers are a mixed bag, man. A real mixed bag right now. And I don't want to go too deep into that, but they got a lot more making up to do. I'll just leave it at that. Dave also says we held strong for 79 minutes. Yeah, I mean, that's when the second one fell. The fact that we shut them out for 35 is nuts to me. Like, that's tough, man. And they did. So got that too. Thank you, Dave. Anybody else wants to throw in, please do. We will also get back to you guys a little bit later as well as we continue on the pod and talk about all things LAFC as we always do. Now, club and community news. Tony, do you have any club community news that you'd like to share with us? I know the community's been through a lot.
Yes. Well, happy Juneteenth to everyone. I do have a jacket in there from that term. That's the 401. So happy with that, of course. We again been missing the pod, so we'll get your thoughts on this. Of course, we have a new academy manager, which we talked about last one, which you weren't part of, which is myself, Tony Hernandez, with an I, so it's not me. But so so what is your expressions on the new manager for the new academy from, a very prestigious academy?
I mean, Mr. Garces, who was there at one point, was super impressive. Speaking with him and what he was doing, I expect nothing less from the current hire. Again, we went with somebody pretty big and somebody that can do a lot for us. Hires have been pretty strong on this front from LAFC in the past. I only expect good things. I think I'll leave it at that. Anybody else want to add in?
Like I said, I don't know. Well, actually, Araceli wasn't here for it. So what's your opinion on the new? Because this is leading into LAFC too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that when I read that in the statement. I mean, I'm in the same boat as Joseph. I expect nothing less because when it comes to LAFC, they're always usually good at hiring the top talent. So I guess we'll see moving forward. But if things should falter, I guess we know which Tony to blame.
I mean, not me.
Tony, or Tony?
Good song,
man. Don't worry, guys. It's not the song of the week. It's not gonna be Tony. Could have been,
should have,
but it won't be.
Well, we had another one for that one, and then of course, we didn't get to talk to it because I was waiting for this. So we did in our 10-day gap of signing players, we hired Javiori. Yeah, I'm gonna mispronounce it. De Rosa from America. Unfortunately, we probably won't see him ever in a LAFC uniform unless the visa gets worked out.
What?
Yes. So we got a new winger. He's done a lot with a option to buy. Now, with this new information, what do we do?
They wait. It's crazy. It's nuts. It fits the times, I guess. Yeah. Let's hope for a miracle here and we actually get him for something. But from what I heard from him, from that player, is he's kind of like how Brian Rodriguez was with us. Like there is a lot there, but not the follow through, right? Mm-hmm. Tony, you would know more than me on this.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's the impression that I got from everybody. Was like, well, yeah, he's got a lot of talent, but but like we used to have with Brian Rodriguez, who actually, when he went to Club America, also turned into a different kind of player, and actually the follow through is real. And so the hope is that the change of scenery will wake this player up, but the quality is actually there. Is that accurate, Tony?
The quality is actually there, and then funny you bring up Brian Rodriguez because rumor mill has it that we're in talks to bring him back.
I'll just leave it there.
Exactly. So, with that being said, with the community, of course, there are watch parties that we do have. If you are, again, as RSLA said, and we'll always say, if you feel comfortable enough to go, you know what I mean? With everything going on in Los Angeles, there's, again, Empire Boys they have two watch parties. They have two watch parties for the next two games. Let me rephrase that. One is going to be, I don't even know how to pronounce that name. Oh, Heaven and Hell Bar and Grill. 12220 Pigeon Pass Road, J. Morondo Valley, California, 92557, and that will be at 2:30. Game kicks off at 3 p.m. of course, and then for the Tuesday match, if we are able to do a preview for the next one for Flamingo, they'll be at SoFi Rancho, 11747 Stadium Way, Rancho Cucamonga, 91370. And then, of course, TSG will be hosting a watch party 3 p.m. at Baja Grill Cantina, 3250 Wilshire Boulevard, suite number 103. So if you're more than welcome to, you can, of course, go out there and watch it. It is free on Dan's DAZN. Sorry, go read. Remember DAZN. Yeah, DAZN. And you can watch it on free on your phone. It is free for, I believe, just in general. There is a premium one that's to rewatch games, but live at the time of the game, you can put it on your phone, put it in the background, whatever you want to do. So yeah, and that is pretty much for club and community news.
Yeah, about DAZN. I've been watching. Well, there's an app that I added to my TV, and I'm watching through that app for DAZN. Downloaded pretty easy for free. You don't have to registration is basic. The difference being between the pay and the free is it's 720p, I believe, for the free and full HD if you pay, and then there's no ads if you pay, but there are ads during downtimes during the game. They'll do a split screen like that and then come back to the full screen when the action kicks off again. That's pretty much what I've noticed the difference being, but you can't really, it's hard to tell between the full HD and 720. Let's be real. You'd have to put them next to each other, honestly. So the stream looked pretty good to me watching the game for free.
Also, offside technology. I forgot.
VPNs you're talking about, or what?
Yes, yeah, VPNs. Not VPNs. I'm talking about offsides technology. I forgot to say that. We lost Bam. So as you noticed, I didn't mention it, but with the goal, it was a question of if he was offsides or onside or offsides, and with the technology that they have and the money that is being put in, that we're Apple TV probably has the same amount of money. They are able to show them that it was onside or offside, not this question about what's going on.
Yeah, tech. Oh, did you guys notice the goal kick rule? I guess and it's random, but your thoughts on this?
I enjoy this.
Or corner kick rule, I should say. Yeah.
Yes. I enjoy this a lot more. It moves the time wasting. Of course, it's gamemanship. Of course, it's part of the game, but it moves the game a lot faster. It affects a lot of teams, a lot of goalkeepers, and it's going to be great. You know what I mean? Because now it's not going to be this, oh, I'm going to fall down, wait a while, and stuff like that. Now it's going to be more of, okay, you're going to waste. All right, this is your punishment. It's not, a throw-in. It's a dangerous
corner kick, man.
Yep.
Like, legit. Dude, could you imagine? It sounds crazy. I don't know how to pull out, but what if they did this for guys that dove in the penalty area, where a penalty gets called, but then VAR proves that it wasn't one because the player dove, and then it becomes a penalty for the other team? Man, change that.
I think that's a little too much. I think so.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
We'll start with the corner kicks.
Yeah.
I like it. I hate time wasting. So imagine Memo Ochoa dealing with this. Oh man.
No, it's like not even Memo Ochoa. There's like millions of keepers I could think of that are very notorious for this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're everywhere. Yeah, for sure. It's a big issue. But it's helped. I think the Sundowns had to deal with a corner kick. That's one that I noticed. And I'm like, that was awesome. So speaking of the Sundowns, we are going to talk about the next match pretty soon here. Relating to Esperance and Sundowns, there's a thing there. So yeah. Now I know Bam was gonna do our Vinyl Club minute, but he'll be back on in a few. So I think at this stage we're gonna jump right into previewing the next match. When Bam gets back on, he'll give you a little bit of that music. Yeah, we'll go from there. So all right, let's jump into it. LAC versus Esperance de Tunis. Yeah, Tunisia. The current double champion from Tunisia won the cup and the league. Yeah, they're a good one, guys. They went to the quarterfinals of the African Champions League and got knocked out by the Sundowns, who are also in the show, right? A very tough team, kind of the cream of the crop for Tunisia. I think I was watching another podcast that actually covers African football, and they said out of the last 25 possible trophies, they've won 17. They're full on international side. A strong one, that's for sure. They know they have a Brazilian forward. They're stacked. It's a stacked side. Going into the Champions League, they were one of the favorites to win the whole thing, and they dropped out earlier than expected. They were shocked, to be honest. and they always come back stronger. So we're dealing with a team that knows how to win, has a winning pedigree. I know a lot of us aren't too familiar with Tunisian football. Some of us are a little more familiar with African football overall at the continental level of competition, but they're regular at that. They're always around. So this is a team to watch out for. They're not going to be easy. This is going to be very difficult for us. I know, Bam, you've looked into these guys as well and what Esperance is doing. And again, winning the double is not easy. Winning as much as they have is definitely not easy to maintain something like this. The one thing I do know that's a little weird with them is they had 3 coaches last year. Their ownership doesn't have patience when coaches slump. So, yeah, 3 in 1 year and still managed to win the double. So that's a little bit fascinating too. But yeah, this is a tough team. That's for sure. And from the previews that I've seen, what you can expect from them is offensive firepower, but occasional defensive lapses. It's a big one, especially down the middle, center half, center back, goalkeeper. He's very young, but he's good. They have a tendency to have gaffes deeper in their lineup, but the firepower is there. So we've got to be careful. It might play into our hands as a team that likes to play the counterattacking game where they might overcommit, and that's how we're going to catch them. But it's not going to be an easy one. Your thoughts on Esperance, Bam?
Look, they obviously coming off the 2-0 loss to Flamingo to open up their campaign. They're a very strong physical side. Their history proves what type of club that they are. Like just going through, was it their 4-time CAF Champions League winners, which isn't easy to do. They've won the league 33 times, runners up 12 times, won the CAF Super Cup once, Arab Club Champions Cup winners twice. You know, they've won the Super Cup in two times, and they know how to win trophies. They know how to play and do what they need to do. Looking at their past season in what they call League One, is they finished 4 points ahead of second place with a plus 35 goal difference. So they know how to score goals. You look at like their last 4 wins, 5-0, 1-0, 3-1, 1-0. You know, they don't just score goals willy-nilly. They score when they need to. And their top scorer, Yan Sassi, with 10 goals last season.
Yeah. Now they have had some injuries. I did hear about that. Some key players will be out for them. Some experienced players. So there's some little shortage there, but their 2 attacking options are healthy and ready to go. And so that's where it's going to be tough. Now against Flamengo, they played a 4-2-3-1 lineup for this one. Ben Said was in goal when they signed him. He's very young. He was considered maybe top 5 for goalkeepers in the entire continent. Yeah, high prospect. Tugai and Mena are their center backs. There's been questions about their abilities and not that they're not quality, but not living quite up to expectations. Ben Ali and Ben Hamidez are outside backs, will be a massive threat, especially coming from that left side. Ogbelu and Guinichi will be holding it down as their defensive midfielders. That's another area where the fans have said there's a little bit of a question mark. Jebeli, it was their attacking midfielder with Sass and Belali. And then up top, they had Rodrigo Rodriguez featuring, but eventually he would change out. And so there is a competition for striker at this club because they do have some strong attacking options. And that's where the flexibility is. They can switch things out for both central attacking mid and striker if they're not liking the way things are, and it won't be much of a drop off. They've got strength there. So that's what we're dealing with this side is well organized. If they come out with a 4-2-3-1, I know we don't have a great history against that lineup, but we can do it. We can counter this thing. If they overcommit, we can catch them. That's for sure. But no, quality is on the field. This is going to be a tough one. That's for sure. It's not a walk through the park. Tony, your thoughts on this match and the lead up to it?
It's not going to be a walk in the park. I feel like also with us, it just was more of a wake up call. But from what I saw against a good Brazilian team, let's be honest,
Yeah.
like it was a what I feel people forget is like this Club World Cup is a clash of styles and also countries. You know what I mean? As the international, yes, World Cup goes, you see all the different styles of what the country is born, but especially in this Club World Cup, you see that more abundantly clear of like how teams play from every league. So to say that, like again, I'm not like, yes, is this a winnable game? 100%. But am I overlooking it? No, this is going to be a tough game. And I feel like from watching them for the last game and the highlights and everything that I saw, it's not going to be a walk in the park because those goals that they got scored on were just any time of the league. If you see that in the league, that's the goal of the week in MLS or any other place.
Oh, that back post curve.
Yeah, that was
the
like
death nail in the 70th minute.
Yeah, like pretty. Literally one touch, saw it, curved it in. Like no one's stopping that unless you positioned right and have a good reflexes for it. But again, those were great goals. So that game was just on moments.
Exactly. I mean, if you could say anything, they were caught a little flat-footed on the first one. But again, bang, bang, right? You go to the other side, back to the other side. You're going to catch everybody flat-footed if you can get that kind of cross play going.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think that says more about Flamengo than it does about Esperance Sportive de Tunis. Seriously, Flamengo is that quality. They showed it in that game. I do see there was 4 yellow cards for Esperance in the game, so they had to get pretty physical to stay in it. That could cost them. Right. And they expect them to do the same against us no matter what. So Danny Bouanga might have some familiarity with some of these players. Again, it's an international side. There's a lot of internationals. He's probably faced a few of these players. So it's not like a shocker to him. He knows what to expect as well. Minor advantage for Denny there. There's familiarity. So we will see. It's going to be a tough game. I wouldn't make any predictions. That's for sure. It's going to be tight. It'll probably go late. And again, gonna be close. I can't see it any old way but close. Araceli, your thoughts about this matchup? Are you concerned? Are you confident? How are you feeling going into this?
I mean, naturally, I have my concerns, but I'll be very honest. I never really heard of this club until we were paired up with them. But hearing your breakdown of how they're a top pedigree club and how they have the talent, I'm sure it's going to be a great matchup either way. Because looking at the LAFC side, you could argue the experience from Bouanga, Giroud, even from Dolo himself. Hopefully, that can have some type of role in how they go against them tomorrow, or today in my case. It just feels a little, I don't want to say random, but almost random to have 2 top pedigree clubs at 5:00 in Nashville. I don't know. That's just me.
It's weird. It's weird. The tournament's
It's
weird.
weird.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of goals as well, I looked at who their leading scorers were Champions League last year. Mokwana, who came on a sub, 3 goals, 7 matches. Jebri, who came on as a sub for Rodriguez, 4 games played, 3 goals scored. So you see why the changes happened, right? They got guys capable. Tough stuff, that's for sure. All right, so that is our preview, no doubt about it. The one thing we didn't get to tonight, which is I'm going to put Bam on the spot here. We're talking about Tunisia, man. I hear you have a good nomination for Final Club Album of the Week.
Yeah, I had a quick little deep dive and went, is there any music about Tunisia and all that kind of stuff? And then I did find one. Got to go back to, it was written in 1942, recorded in 1944 by a jazz artist called Dizzy Gillespie. It's called A Night in Tunisia. So, yes, we've done some rock before, we've done some rap, we've done some techno, we've done all that kind of stuff. Let's just break it all back down. Let's go some nice, smooth jazz to keep it going.
Classy. We're going classy. Otherwise known as what? Interlude, right?
Yes, when it was originally done, it was called Interlude, and then as his record is saying, some genius decided to call it A Night in Tunisia. So let's go with that.
I like the vibe. Cool. Sounds good. All right. Before we wrap this thing up, I do see that there's about 6 comments from the faithful. Let's see what they've got to say before we close this thing. So they get their final comments of the day, and then we'll add ours. Let me see. David Day got into this. He says the group stage stuff is fun. I agree. He also likes DAZN. Yeah, the coverage has actually been decent, man. Okay, more than decent. I've seen some bad stuff. This isn't. Yes.
About the Zone 2 is that they actually brought the cable channel Foxtel here in Australia. So they actually own the cable TV channel here in Australia. So there's ones that we get like ESPN, Fox Sports, all different types of shows. And they actually have a dedicated channel just for the Club World Cup with the mini documentaries going on it. So I get that.
That's fantastic. Coming up this way. There you go. Dave says I love the free stream for sure. I agree, man. Again, and the cool thing that they've brought in is the talent. So if you're watching the analysis, I think the last game we just watched with Seattle, they had Brad Guzan and Juan Pablo Angel. Yeah, I know. People familiar with MLS. They actually bring people in that actually match up with the matches being played, and so you're getting decent punditry for these matches. So good on DAZN for doing it the right way. Who knows what that means for future tournaments, but for this one, keep it up. Keep it up. It's good. Falcon jumped on. He says, "What's up, guys? LAFC will take the game 3-1. Ooh, 3 goals. He's getting confident on that one. I hope you're right, sir. We need goal difference. We need the result. It has to be a result. No way around it. And then, of course, in the morning, Chelsea will play against Flamengo. So we're going to know ahead of time the picture before we take the field. So there is that. All right. So what do we do when we wrap up these episodes? That's right. Our final thoughts of the day. So I'm going to go to Araceli first on this one. I know I keep picking on you. Your final thoughts.
It wouldn't be you if you didn't, let's be honest. But my final thoughts, they're very simple, honestly. Whether if you're traveling to Nashville for the game, safe travels. And if you're going to a watch party, of course, stay safe, but have fun. And if you're planning to go to any LAFC 2 games next week, or even just starting to prepare for the 4th of July, I know I'm kind of a week ahead on that one. Just have fun and stay safe out there.
There we go. I know there's some community events Tony might cover for the next episode happening on the 4th of July, but we'll go with that. So I'll go to you, Tony, next. Final comments.
Final comments is just be safe out there. You know what I mean? There's even with it's still as fresh as it was the first time we talked about it. It's still going on. So just be careful out there. Make sure you have everything with you that you need. Reach out if you need anything for anyone. I know it's a rough time, especially with what's going on around the world. But of course, let's just have fun. We're in a very unique situation with LAFC, as in we get to watch them play against international games. That means something. And the sky's the limit moving forward. The 2 games we got the nerves off last game, and now we can move on and see what we can do realistically moving forward. So that's pretty much my final say.
Love it, man. Thank you. And now, bam. Final comments, sir.
Final comments from me. It's great to have you back, Joseph. We did miss you the last couple of weeks. It's good to have the father back in here, keeping us kids back under control after the last 2 episodes. If you go back and listen to them, I'm sorry. Some things were said, some words were said. I'm sorry.
But yes.
Yeah. Again, I was going to round it off again. Everyone that goes to watch parties, if you are going, if you feel safe going, go. If you don't feel safe going, that's okay. Sit back at home, watch it in the comfort of your home. Be safe. To lead on with what Tony was saying as well, again, my big thing is the mental health stuff. I'm not doing it this year, but here in Australia at the moment, we are doing what's called the push-up challenge. It's a 23-day challenge where each day you get X number of push-ups to do. Over the total of it, you'll do 3,214 push-ups, which represents how many people committed suicide in Australia in 2023. That's the most last data. For example, with it today was 210 push-ups you had to do today, which represents the 21% of employees that have taken time off work in the past year due to mental health challenges. So it's a good way to keep all that going. For all you guys that are in LA County and all that, again, if you do need help, reach out. The numbers you can call is 800-854-7771, or you can call, text, and chat with 988. They are the Los Angeles County Department of Health numbers. Use them. They're there for a reason. You do matter to everyone around you.
Thank you for that, Bam. Critically important. Yes, Tony.
Quick lore on why you on this podcast, just for the new viewer that just asked the question. Just quick lore.
Quick lore, break it down simple. I met Joseph on a trip back in 2012 when I came over, back in the old Chivas USA days. From then, with LAFC coming about, it was something that I knew Joseph was really keen on. I was really keen on. I flew over for the very first match in Seattle away in 2018, and over that time, I've gotten to know Tony and Araceli through the podcast, through coming over on trips and all that. And that's how I'm a part of this ragtag bunch of people.
He's one of the North End guys. At the end of the day, that's Bam. He's been pre-North End. Again, dedicated to it from the very first day, from day zero, part of this. So, and always supporting the pod too, since the Jerry days. So, Bam is just the guy, man. He's been around. And so one of our old friends, and that's how it's supposed to be. And so now we all anchor this podcast and do our thing. But when Bam comes to town, you can't miss out on the Tim Tams. By the way, Bam, Tim Tams are like all over the place in Japan. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they are. And they also have some interesting flavors too in Japan.
Yeah. I mean, I got bags of Kit Kats back here. Trust me, the flavors. If you like matcha, place to be. But yeah, Bam's got us. The lore is there. He'll be back soon again. I know he can't stay away, and that's a good thing. Maybe for,
I'm doing 3 weeks for the World Cup.
There it is. So there it is. I guess we'll be seeing him for the World Cup. Guess you'll be seeing all of us for the World Cup. Can't wait. It's on, folks. It is on. So yeah, good question on the lore, sir. Well done. I guess that throws me to my final thought, huh? I'll leave it at that. I am happy to be back with all of you, though I do miss Japan greatly. This is home, and this is where I belong. And with my LAFC faithful, it's critically important during these times to maintain our contacts, stay together, hear each other out, and be a voice for those who can't provide their voice in these moments. So that is what we will do. Yes, football is here, and we will stick to football when we need to stick to football. But football is a community sport. So if the community is ailing, you'll hear from us. That's for sure. As Tony said earlier, we're in this. That's for sure. So on that note, enjoy the game tomorrow. Support LA, support LAFC. That is a part of being a part of the LAFC faithful, is that your community as well as your football is always going to be on your mind, and you should do your best to bring it up, not break it down. Stay positive. Keep your heads up. We'll get through the next one and hopefully celebrate by the weekend on a big win. So there's my final thought. On that note, it's the final word. So Araceli, final word.
Stay golden.
Tony.
Stay golden, Los Angeles.
Bam.
Stay golden.
And from me to all of you, stay golden, Los Angeles.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.